Good afternoon, everyone.
So, good afternoon. I'll just wait for another 30 seconds, 1 minute, in case the other folks are wanting to join. And I think people are joining still. So a very good afternoon and a warm welcome, everyone, to this first session of the exclusive EURAM webinar series for members. Going forward, the series will bring to you presentations by the winners of the annual EURAM Awards and Grants. As you know, these prestigious awards and grants are designed to recognize and foster excellence in management research and education across Europe and beyond. They celebrate outstanding contributions to the field of management, honoring scholars who have demonstrated exceptional innovation, rigor, and impact in their work, including the Edith Penrose Award, the Best Paper Award, the Best Book Award, and starting this year, the Impactful Researcher Award as well. In the future, we also aim to develop the webinar series into a forum for members to come together to present and discuss the latest cutting-edge research. But today, I'm delighted to introduce our first presenter in the series, Dr. Estelle Peyrard, winner of EURAM's inaugural Teaching Innovation Award 2025 for creating All Included, which is a groundbreaking serious game, which is revolutionizing management education. Dr. Estelle Peyrard is associate researcher at Ecole Polytechnique in France, excuse my French pronunciation, and is also the head of TechLab at APF France Handicap. Our game is transforming how students understand design exclusion, which means the inadvertent marginalization of users due to design flaws. And they are learning universal design principles using her serious game. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Peyrard. Estelle, it's so good to have you here with us. Thank you for joining. And hand over the microphone to you now.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for the introduction. I'm really glad to be here to present my work with you all. I'm going to share my screen. Is it okay? You can see my screen?
Yes, I can.
All right, perfect. So, as you said, the game I am going to present you is a game named All Included, and it's a game that I created to learn about inclusive design. So what I want to share with you today is just the theoretical background of this game, which is inclusive design and design exclusion. I'm going to present the game and how it works and the behind the scene of the game, how I developed it and what happened since during the 4 years it took me to develop it. Please feel free to enter your questions in the Q&A module during the presentation so that we can treat it right after the presentation. So what is inclusive design? Inclusive design refers to the design of products, services, and environment that meet a wide range of capabilities. So it's a solution against design exclusion. And design exclusion, it refers to the unintended, I hope, marginalization or exclusion of certain group of users due to the design of products, systems, and environment. So it's when you say it's too difficult to open or operate, there are too many functionalities, I'm lost, I can't access, I can't read, or it's too small to be read. It also echoes to disaffordances in design. Design exclusion have a very heavy impact on the life of people with disabilities or seniors or other excluded groups. and it can impact their quality of life, the possibility they have for independent living, the opportunities of social life, and the roles that people can have in society. We have this design exclusion, and on the other hand, we have some proofs that disability can inspire innovation. It already has, for instance, when the remote control and other innovation appeared, like audiobooks or subtitles that were created for people with disabilities. And some researchers have demonstrated that you can inspire innovation when focusing on extreme users like people with disabilities. We talk about the curb cut effect to express the fact that we all gain comfort when a space is designed for disabilities, for instance. So the game All Included is a board game to raise awareness on design exclusion and to get inspiration from extreme users. It began with the fact that most people practicing design are not knowledgeable about the exclusion they create in their design and don't know very much about inclusive design. The general format of the game is 3 to 6 hours of game for students in marketing, entrepreneurship, innovation management, engineering, software development. And a typical session lies within 3 stages. A first stage of initiation, in which we discover the 7 principles of universal design, which I didn't invent, but which is well known in the literature of inclusive design. The second step is the board game, in which we try to understand problems and fix them by finding solutions for extreme users. And the broadening step, in which we try to think of how universal could be the solutions we found for extreme users. So in the first phase of initiation, we discover the 7 principles of universal design. These principles were popularized by the United Nations and created by Story and colleagues in the 1990s. And in the first phase of the game, I give many examples of how a product can be more inclusive based on the universal design principles. So universal design principles, for instance, are equitable use, tolerance for error, low physical effort, perceptible information, all qualities of a product or a service that are needed for it to be more adapted to people with disabilities, to seniors, etc. In the second phase of the session, we do the game. So the objective of the game is to identify the disaffordances experienced by extreme users in usage situations and imagine solutions. Disaffordances are difficulties that a user could experience when using a service or a product. Or it also could be the stigma that could be felt by people using a product or a service. And I have created game material, which are a board game, 3 different types of cards and solution sheets. To tell you a bit more about the cards, I have 3 types of cards. I have extreme users cards, So one card is an extreme user, and they represent various disabilities, visual, motor, cognitive disabilities. It can be permanent or situational, what we call situational disability, like being in a noisy place is a situational disability. And it goes beyond disabilities by addressing users that can be in situation of precariousness, electronisms, have allergies, etc. On the second type of cards, I have situations of use that are designed to have a built environment, a physical environment, and a digital environment. For instance, a situation of use can be I have to go to the post office and send an addressed letter or a letter with signature, which involves the physical environment of the post office, the built environment of the post office, the physical environment of the digital equipment we use, and the digital environment, meaning the software inside. And I also have blank cards because when I do the game with companies, because I also do it within companies, I use their own usage, their own situations of use. So I did it, for instance, in an insurance company, and the situations of use were typical situations that would be encountered by their clients. And I have also cards which are designed for all hints that are really practical hints, are inspired by the 7 principles of universal design and different best practice. I have built card combinations to maximize learning. For instance, this kind of extreme users in this kind of situation of use for it to be more interesting. So to be more concrete, what do we do in a game turn? In a game turn, we have one usage situation and 6 extreme users. So you have examples here. So a usage situation can be in the city, I need to use a self-service bicycle for the first time. And the extreme user can be, I am a wheelchair user. I added figures on the cards when I had them for people to be a bit more knowledgeable about the figures of disabilities. And I put students in teams of 3 to 5 students, and they work on what are the difficulties encountered by the extreme users in this usage situation, what solutions could be imagined, and do they apply to other users. I invite them to think of all the usage chain. So in the example of the self-service bicycle, I tell them, okay, what do we start with when we use for the first time a self-service bicycle? Maybe we have to register in some way or something like that. And I tell them from time to time to take design for all cards to get inspiration for the design of their solutions. And they put all of this on the solution sheet. During the game, so when they are thinking of solutions, I go from table to table to see each group, And I have built some guiding questions that are here to challenge preconceptions. For instance, if you think there's incompatibility between an extreme user and a situation of use, think out of the box. This question applied to the self-service bicycle. I used it because I frequently have students that tell me a wheelchair user cannot use a bicycle. So I don't treat the question. I don't treat the problem of the extreme user. It's impossible. And I tell them, okay, think out of the box when you think that. And then we arrive progressively to, okay, if we change totally the bicycle, the format of the bicycle, maybe we can arrive to something that is possible for people in a wheelchair. I also ask them, is the solution you've come up with is as comfortable and effective for the extreme users as it is for everyone else? Or is it as efficient for the extreme user? Because in a lot of cases, they tell me, okay, the person cannot do it by herself, so the solution I propose is that there is something to help. There is, somebody to help. And I tell them, okay, some people may be happy with getting help to do this, to go to the train, to go to the bank, etc. But some other people maybe want to do just like everybody. When you go to the bank to take cash, you don't need help. When you go to the train, you don't need help. So what solution can you think that way? So I have those guiding questions that are really here to counter the biases they can have. Oops. And once they have built their solutions, they present it to all the groups, and we think together what aspects of the solutions you identified for extreme users could lead to innovations for the general public. This is really the philosophy of user-sensitive inclusive design, the idea that when you do innovation for extreme users, and particularly for people with disabilities, you come up with solutions that can meet the needs of a wide range of users. Some figures about the game. I had 84% of participants that felt that they had a good or very good understanding of the specific needs of users after the game. 92% that they could apply several inclusive design principles. And 73% that they had a good or very good understanding of disability. So an increase in all of those scores compared to before the session. So that is the game and the results, and what I wanted to share with you also, because maybe that's what also is interesting for you who are both teaching and researching, is the behind the scene of the design of this game. So I am in the fourth year of my development process. I started developing the game in 22. So I started with the first version with 3 very important tools: PowerPoint, a printer, and scissors. So it was, as you can imagine, a low-cost game. But it enabled me to test it on different audiences. My team, entrepreneurs of an incubator, professionals in an event on innovation. And the first takeaways I had at this time were that I needed to simplify the game, which I made in the first place a bit too complicated. I had two other thematics that I suppressed. And I added usage situation cards to avoid having to choose a use case from among those of participants, also with the idea that when I do it with students, they don't have a use case like a product they are actually developing. So I need standard use cases, which are my usage situations I presented to you. The next year, I had a partnership with a design school to improve the gamification. So I had two teams of students who worked on the game to think of how to gamify the game. I had a partnership with a health insurance company who paid a graphic designer, so finished with the PowerPoint. I had a funding for the printing of the cards by a chair I am involved in. And I continued with the test of the game in different contexts. And my takeaways of this year were that I needed a game board to better organize the team game and facilitate the preparation of the game. I needed to measure impact because many people need it to say, okay, we're going to use the game. So I added the questionnaire before and after the game. And one of my takeaways was that organizations are quite willing to fund concrete projects like a card game. Maybe they feel they are funding something quite concrete. I don't know. But it was not that complicated to find funding at this stage for graphic design and printing. In 2024, I went on with the test of the game. I translated it in English. I created a web page in French. My takeaways this year were that I needed back office contents, like for the preparation and animation phases. So I added preparation cards. It was still to facilitate the preparation of the game for the students to be able to say, okay, I take these cards, and I played this way. Even if I explain it, I saw that they need some preparation card to tell them, okay, what are the rules. I added the guiding question, I talked to you earlier because I started to understand the biases that they may have when they think of innovation for disabilities. And I added a feedback file to provide adapted feedback for each situation / extreme user couple. And I realized, and maybe you researchers find it quite obvious, but I realized that the data that were created during the game were very interesting for my research. So I started implementing a data collection process. And this year, I started a partnership with a university, a group of students who developed a mock-up of a digital tool to support the rollout of sessions. At this stage, I don't want a fully digital tool because I think that's what's very interesting in the game is the interaction between the students. I began also a partnership with a web development company to develop the tool, and that is a skills sponsorship. And I am creating a course animation of the all-included game, which is in progress. And my takeaways for this year are that I decided to stop modifications on the game. because I want to facilitate transmission to other teachers and animators. And it's not, when you're in this process of test and learn and test and learn and test and improve, it's not that easy to say, okay, I stop, I stop here, and the game is the game. It maybe in some aspect it's still not perfect, but if I want it to be used by others, I have to stop modifying it. I had much interest on the games, like I won 2 prizes, I was exhibited at the French Design Week, but I have to confess that not so many schools or organizations are deploying it. My assumptions maybe is that maybe it's too long, 3 hours, and maybe it's still too distant from their existing programs, like, because at the moment, at least in France, we have very few programs on inclusive design. Or maybe you have other insights, and so you'll tell me. So if I could give you do's and don'ts on developing a pedagogical game, the first, most obvious is do not wait for the game to be perfect to test it, retest it, and retest it. Maybe do not invest too much on graphic design before having tested the content. It happened that I didn't have the budget to do graphic design before the first test, so I did it that way with just PowerPoint. But really, it was a good way to do it because the graphic design is not that important at the beginning, and the tests are. At one point, stop making modifications to enable graphic design work and also teaching by others, maybe. Think of the back office tools. What I call back office tools is not the tools that are part of the games, but all the tools that will facilitate the installation of the game or the animation of the game by other people. Facilitate the installation, so that goes with it. Consider partnering with a non-governmental organization. For me, it was easy because I am already in an NGO, because I am the head of an innovation department of an NGO in France. But what it brings me to be both a researcher and part of an NGO is that the NGO, I think gives me credits on the topic of inclusive design, and I think also it really facilitated the partnerships with all the partners I had for the development of the game, including other academic institutions. Like the entry of those partnerships were more the association I'm part of than the academic setting in which I am. Maybe also consider partnering with specialized program and students. I had the help of students on game design, on digital development also, and that's an exercise that was quite interesting. Maybe consider using the game sessions as research material. And it's my opinion, maybe resist the all digital requests, like I've been asked several times, when is the all digital version coming up? But I think that the social interactions of a board game are really a plus, are really interesting, and at the moment, I'm quite sure I couldn't have the same level of discussion with the teams on the biases they have and the solutions they are considering if it was all digital. So thank you for your attention. I'm sorry I don't have that good of an English, so I hope you understood what I said. I'd be pleased to answer your questions. And if you want to contact me, here is my email address.
Estelle, thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. For the participants, please feel free to ask questions by using the Q&A tab at the top of the screen. We are not able to allow direct questions to Estelle, but I'm happy to read out your questions to Estelle and she can answer them for you. So please feel free to use that tab for your questions. In the meanwhile, as people are thinking of the questions, Estelle, I was just wondering, perhaps you can share with us the inspiration that led to the development of this game.
Yes, well, I was inspired by a game card I saw on design thinking. Design thinking card games are quite usual. I mean, there are several that exist. And I saw how powerful were the cards to make the students interact. So quite early in my PhD, because what I didn't say is that I started my PhD in 2018, and just after the end of my PhD, I started working on this game. Early in my PhD, I followed this design thinking course with cards, and that gave me this idea of a card game dedicated to inclusive design.
Great. Thanks, Estelle. Another question that has come up in the Q&A is, in your experience, which is the ideal class size and the best level of students to play the game effectively?
The more the students are experienced, the better, to say the truth. When they are the perfect time, maybe is a Master 2 level. Or it could be also very interesting with people who already have work experience. And the size of the groups, I'd say between 30 and 50. It's a good size. When we are 50, when I have 50 students, I usually have another teacher helping me to go and speak with each group. But it's good to have that many, to have at least maybe 20, 30 students to have a group dynamic, I'd say. And because what is important, what is interesting also in the game is a debriefing phase when each group presents their ideas and we talk about it, and we try and understand what innovation we could bring from that for the wider public, and we speak about the biases that we have as designers or engineers. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Estelle. Another question I had was that you mentioned that one can use the research, the game sessions to collect research material. I was just curious if you had already done that and you had been able to make use of that material for developing manuscripts, academic manuscripts as well, or pedagogical manuscripts.
Yes, I am in the process. I presented something last year in a conference about as you could guess, the biases that designers have when considering the design of products for disabilities.
Yeah. Yeah. Another question in the chat is that have you seen or heard or used any Gen AI tools that can help with the development of such games?
Well, actually, it came too late. So no, not at all. For sure, if I started now to develop it, I would do it maybe differently with AI. But for now, no, the AI tools, they came too late in the process, I think.
So, are there aspects of the game that students liked more? Were there challenges, aspects that they benefited the most from in your experience?
Well, the feedbacks I have are that they like the introduction in which I show them many products that were designed with universal design in mind. They like it to be concrete, I think. And well, they like the game part. And I think, yes, what the feedbacks I have too is that the guiding questions really have their importance because of the role they have in identifying the biases and yeah, showing them that their initial thoughts on disabilities, on design, on innovation maybe are not the good path to do universal design.
Thank you. Estelle, another question from the audience. Did you use this approach with executives as well? And if yes, which major differences did you experience as opposed to using it with non-executives?
Yes, I used it with executives, and it's really, really interesting because I used it with executives in design functions. And what is really interesting is that when it's with executives, I can apply it to their own products. And it's really for them eye-opening. So they realize that their products are not adapted, that they create exclusion. And also it serves as a team building because they spend, if it's with executives from the same company, which is not always the case, but if it's with executives from the same company, they spend like 3 to 6 hours thinking, reflecting on their products and services with this approach of the extreme user. And the results, the ideas that they have are really, really interesting.
Yeah, great. And another question from the audience. How has your experience been with approaching companies with this all-inclusive game? Are they receptive to it? It assumes that you
I'd say yes and no. I'd say that
that's quite common. It's
some of them are, but as I said, not so many. But I don't have many commercial skills, so so maybe that's the point. But I have really high satisfaction rates when they do it. Maybe what's complicated, it's more easy with companies that are not that accustomed to design. Like they do design, but they don't name it design like with service companies, because I have the impression maybe that companies that are already doing design, like industries, they tend to consider that they don't need that, or I don't know precisely, but it was easier with companies in services.
Is there a reason you think that services companies have a greater preference? Is it because of the nature of the game itself? Because it involves design thinking and design applications?
Yeah, it's I don't know exactly. Maybe maybe because when we explain the game, we talk about usage situation, and the usage situations I put in the game, they always involve a service, because what I want for the pedagogical reasons is that we have at least a physical environment and a digital environment and a built environment, because it's richer in terms of interactions. So it's not that focused. So the game as it is designed actually is not that focused on just physical products. So maybe it leads service companies to see themselves more in this game. I don't know if you have hints.
Estelle, another question I have is, you must have also done some teaching without the use of a serious game. You may be doing it in parallel as well. So in terms of using a serious game as a tool and not using it, which one do you think has been more impactful for your students? And perhaps the more general question is serious game a better, the use of serious games a better approach to teach, in your opinion?
That's a very good question. I have teachings with and without the game. And I have teaching also that in which I start with the game and then do more like classical teaching. What I'd say is that when it's with students that are really not involved in those topics of disabilities or the elderly or people like that, the game, I think, really fosters their engagement. I mean, with all students, I think the game fosters their engagement, but I'd say that it's more the case with students that are really on different topics, like generalist engineers, for example. And I'd say that it also fosters the engagement of the head of programs or the head of masters, or, maybe they are more willing to include a session of the game than a session, general session of on inclusive design.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a point too.
Yeah, that's important as well, right? So not just students, but also other folks. Estelle, there was a question by one of the participants, whether they can take a look at the website that you mentioned, and would it be possible to share that in the chat at some point, so that
Yes,
they can...
I can't, but I have to tell you that it hasn't been translated into English, but with nowadays tools, you'll do the translation or your navigator will. But yes, I can share the the web page. On the, I am going to copy paste it.
And
it's still in French.
No, it's easy to translate, as you said. These days, it's not too difficult.
Yes, yes, and the game is already translated. It's not just the page, which is not. The game is translated because I already do it in with foreign students. So
yeah. Estelle, are you also perhaps looking for any kind of support or collaborations from other EURAM members?
I'm open to all suggestions. Really, my goal is to share or to maybe to spread, I don't know, inclusive design. So I'm open to all suggestions that you may have. I don't have preconceived idea about that.
In that case, would it be also possible to share your email address or some other ways folks can connect with you?
Yeah.
And also, folks who have questions after this presentation and they would like to raise these questions, can they still reach out to you?
Yes, sure. Yes, you're more than welcome to ask your questions. Yeah, and to continue the discussion. Yes.
Lovely. Let me just quickly check if there are more questions. An interesting question that's in the Q&A. What's coming up next for you, and what's the next challenge?
I have so many. I am. So the next challenge for the game is to do this digital tool that will support the presential sessions. The digital tool, it will help me foster engagement, because I will, I hope that one day I will have pop-up guiding questions sent to the students, or pop-up that says, okay, you can take 3 cards of Design for All, and I will be able also to collect the data that they are the data of their work on the game. So that's interesting too. That's one thing, and another, and I have started other projects. I think I like that. And the more recent one is that I launched a label. Not sure about the word in English. An inclusive designer label that I give to companies that have a serious inclusive innovation process and practice. And we've given this label to 4 large French companies last month, and I hope it will help develop more inclusive practices in the design of products and services. And I am also open to an internationalization of this label, maybe even if it's quite new, or even for us in France.
That sounds very interesting, very promising, Estelle. So good luck with that. Let me just see if there are further questions in the Q&A. It would seem that for now, folks are letting all of this sink in. They may have questions later on, but everyone has access to your email, so they should be able to reach out to you. I want to thank you once again for this wonderful presentation, Estelle. It's a very smart and a useful, serious game, and your explanation has been very helpful. I know that a lot of time and effort goes into preparing for a webinar, so very grateful to you for your time and for sharing with us your insights and expertise. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you to all the participants as well.
Thank you also
joining us for this webinar series. And we look forward to welcoming you to the next one. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for attending. Thank you.